I just repeated Super Nintendo and NES like actually no, I think I fucking repeated Super Nintendo and SNES like 3 times on that.
Super Nintendo, NES, Super Nintendo, NES, Super Nintendo. I mean, the list goes on.
What do you want me to say? It's a fucking drunken podcast by this point. I'm sorry. This is why we're usually done by the time I get to this point in the bottle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, they got SNES, they got Super Nintendo, and then they had the Alpha SNES, Nintendo Super. So, these bars, though, it sounds like it's a collective of just people, and they're in small little areas in these random buildings throughout town, in Tokyo, Okinawa, all throughout Japan. And you go in there, it's like an old school speakeasy, it seems like. Really cool, but like bright, outrun style, color aesthetics. Really cool, like they just serve you beers, liquor, and you're just playing these games, hanging out with friends. It sounds like a great time. I want to go to Japan just to experience this before they go away.
Same. But it's very expensive to go there. I think it was like $2,000 or $3,000 to go.
Benny Baggins says that's nothing.
Yeah. So one of the guys was saying you could get a liquor license, or you don't even need a liquor license. You could just like start selling alcohol and then be open 24 hours a day like tomorrow.
Yeah. And so there was 2 guys I interviewed on here that were Americans that moved over there, and one of them just living over in Japan. He was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with my life. Let me just open one of these because it seems like a great time.
Yeah.
And what's cool is it's their own collections that they're just sharing with other people. And some of the way like they made their... I still have a little bit hard time understanding how they make their money. Obviously, it's through liquor sales, but like it's only, I think, like they said like $5. I guess they're making a decent amount of money if there's a lot of people coming, because it was said like $5 an hour or 1 drink an hour, and you could stay there, and that was it. So I mean, but think about it like this: we talked about iFix Arcade the other day.
Yeah.
How do they make their money?
Which is similar.
Is it pretty much just like a subscription thing? Because it's BYOB, right?
Well, you pay the dude $10, and then you can come and go as you please for the entire day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how does he make his money? Because I bet it's a decent amount to spend there. Sorry. You know, I mean, like for his overhead, like his property tax and stuff like that. Renting.
I don't know, but I mean, so far he's making it work. I know they've been open a little over a year.
That's awesome. I can't wait to go.
I hope they stay open as long as possible, but at least until you come, it's a really fun place to go.
Yeah. So okay, so that was what got me when I saw this video. I was like, I gotta talk to Fred about this. We have to talk about it on the podcast because these Japanese arcade bars, they sound fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But here's the problem: it sounds like when it comes to properties and intellectual properties, specifically with gaming, there was like a law passed in like '93, and Nintendo was a big part of it. And it was to censor people from renting games. It's illegal to rent games since 1993 in Japan. You cannot. There doesn't exist. Like Blockbuster Video renting video games wouldn't have existed in Japan from '93 on, because Nintendo was a huge proponent behind this bill that said you cannot rent gaming media to individuals.
Yep. Because they lose out on sales. You know.
Yeah. And so that's the big problem now, is these bars have these games and people want to go play them and stuff. Once these started getting more popular, especially when companies started making that, like they realized there was a niche market for this, bigger companies would buy bigger bars, have tons of games, and they got shut down because they essentially said you can't in Japan even have stuffed animals that look like Mario. You can't have likeliness products that you sell individually at your place.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so these bars...
Can you sell that stuff? I mean, if you're selling it...
I mean, I don't know if there's strict licenses you have to do or what, but so the problem
By the way, at iFix Arcade, they have a giant Sonic the Hedgehog head that you can wear, like a mascot head.
I'm wearing it when I get there.
Yeah.
Well, so what's crazy about this is it's like all these people were doing this, they're making tons of money, they're doing really, really well, but like it seems like everybody they interviewed, they were in it for the love of video games, which I love that. Like if you're able to be successful, make a shitload of money, and you're doing something that you love and are passionate about, that's the best life to me. But the problem is these bigger companies started making these bars, then it put it on everybody's radar in Japan. Because even developers would go and hang out at these places, they said. But then it started getting on people's, like, you know, Nintendo's everybody's radar. And the thing is, because of that, A couple of them were shut down. People were arrested. Their entire stash confiscated. And I think they said there was like a PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3 on there from like the photo they showed of all the stuff they had. For the most part, it was all retro gaming. So it's like, what the fuck? Because I understand if like you say, oh, God of War comes out next week. I'm going to buy 4 copies, charge people $10 an hour to fucking play God of War. I'll make my money back in 1 day or 2 days and then just keep profiting over it. I get that. But these are bars that have old school gaming that's hard to even find some of these games to experience them and play them. So I get like not being in the AAA mainstream present day titles because I can see where it would lose profit to these developers and publishers, but not what it's fucking doing in relation to these arcades.
Gotcha.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think, you know, we have to look at this from like a business standpoint, as always, right? I think that Nintendo looks at every instance where somebody's playing one of their games through somebody else's business. Like when somebody else is making money on a game and that sale could have been to Nintendo, they think to themselves like, okay, like that's not fair. That's our shit. Like you can't do that. And like they're really protective over that. But I don't think Nintendo's the only company. I mean, if you open a place,
I use them as the main example. I see what you're saying because there are other.
And that was the main example used in the videos too. But I mean, when you only mention one company, it makes it easy to say like, oh, they're like over exaggerating. But I think just like as a whole industry, I don't think anyone wants someone to buy their game for $10, say, or $60, and then charge every day other people to play that same game. That person makes their money back and whatever in tenfold, while the company never makes any more than that original $60. So I get it, and it might be that in Japan they've they made these laws ahead of time where like companies like Nintendo are like, cool, we don't want this to change. But in America, like you can put Nintendo shit on the walls and like
exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's like it's a lot of this has to do specifically with Japan, and one of the main arcades that I really like that they talked about here, it's called Critical Hit, and it is owned by a guy's named Alex Fraioli, and he's an American. He created this place. He had to shut down because like all these people, pretty much from what happened in this video, 2 of these arcade bars, the owners, like I said, were arrested. Their whole systems and merchandise confiscated, which is, I'm sure that's thousands of dollars. I hope they get it back. I mean, just from a collective standpoint. So some people were like, well, we're going to open up just as a museum. You can drink in there, and it's like a museum for gaming until we figure out what the hell we can do. This Alex Fraioli guy, he got a lawyer in Japan, and his lawyer, I think, said something along the lines of, I'm going to fuck this all up, but it was like he can maintain his bar status, and then they treat it as a used game shop.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means because I didn't get a chance. I would love to like interview this guy. This would be amazing if we could somehow just set up an interview with this guy.
I think it probably means that he now sells.
But that's the thing, though. He wouldn't probably sell his collection because he was saying, I think that he kept, every time he went back to America, would get like more and more of his collection, and then he just built it all up. You wouldn't want to sell that shit. I wonder if when it says used game shop, it means like they sell things there, but these are used games that you also are looking at. And maybe, I don't know how that works. You can't rent because it's clearly illegal there. I would love to interview this Alex Fraioli guy and just ask him, like, what does that mean that you're reopening now as a bar with a used game shop as well within it?
Maybe we'll ask him.
Maybe I'll just reach out to him and see if he ever responds. That'd be cool. But either way, it was a very interesting topic. It's still kind of up in the air. We don't really know what's going to happen with those, but I kind of want to go visit Japan just so I can experience those before they are no more.
Taste of that here in Brooklyn.
I will,
because
I'm excited about iFix Arcade.
Moving on, last topic of the day.
This motherfucker tries to plagiarize. He's a motherfucking dick and he's small in size. I don't like his ass because I know why. You give me sass,
let you go.
I'll punch you in the eye.
if you didn't already hear about this today, Dead Cells came out yesterday. Dead Cells,
I believe it came out today. They reviewed it yesterday, but it came out today.
Yep. So Dead Cells is a Metroidvania platforming game that came out on Switch and Steam and probably everything else too. I don't see why not. I don't. I actually.
I think it's on Switch. Yeah, it's definitely on Switch because
I know it's on Switch. But I'm saying, did it come out on PlayStation and stuff?
Yes, I believe it did.
Okay. So anyway, the game is kind of not even the subject of this.
Are you recording, Fred?
I am.
Okay.
The subject is that IGN put out a review by Philip Mewson, and he gave it a 9.7. Great score for the game. And his review was almost identical to a review done by a small YouTuber named Boomstick Gaming.
Boomstick Gaming.
So at the beginning of all this, I believe Boomstick Gaming had like 11,000 followers. Right now, he has 30,000. And in fact, earlier I had looked, and
so I'm glad this fucking asshole plagiarized his shit because he's like, well, just made me a shitload of money. Thanks, dude.
I guess.
You dickhead.
I mean, he at least got him some subscribers. He almost tripled his.
We can report
base.
the name of this individual, right? Like that's not allowed.
What?
We're journalists. We can report the name of this individual that plagiarized, right?
I believe so. Well, here's the thing. Originally,
no, it has been confirmed that it was him.
Oh, it was confirmed?
It was confirmed.
Oh, boy.
I saw that.
What? You just saw it?
I mean, I saw it whenever I was pissed at you and just on the internet while I was trying to calm the fuck down from you not recording the goddamn podcast.
Gotcha. So, yeah, we've been kind of looking into this all day, but Philip Mewson had posted a few days ago that he was working on his first, he was editing his first ever video review for IGN, I believe.
Yes. And the thing is, Philip Mewson was a YouTuber, got hired on by IGN about 9 to 10 months ago. He does their Nintendo podcast called, what was it called, Fred?
Nintendo Voice Chat.
There you go. And so he is not. Oh, goddamn, I'm looking right now. Subscribe to IGN's weekly podcast on iTunes, and Nintendo Voice Chat is the second one there, right after GameScoop. So he was the host of that, and he no longer is because he's been fired from the company.
Yeah, which is too bad. I did like him, but
I will give credit to IGN because when this came out this morning, I read it like probably 6 a.m. this morning when I got up to take a tinkle, and I was looking at my phone, and I saw that alert, and I was like, wait, what? And I will give credit to IGN because the review came out on Monday. Tuesday early in the morning, it was revealed that he had plagiarized. By the time I had officially woken up, an hour or two later, IGN had taken it off their website and they were doing an internal investigation. By this evening, they have fired the employee and are re-reviewing the game to that review be released in the next couple days.
Yeah, and they released a statement.
Right. And so IGN handled it the best they could. And so, props to them for that. Taking immediate action.
Yeah. I'm going to read the statement if you don't mind.
Yeah. Because the thing is, you can't be a fucking asshole and you can't plagiarize, especially in journalism, whether it be entertainment or fucking political. I mean, can you imagine plagiarizing something important on the political or social spectrum and it was like somebody broke the story, but then another asshole that's a bigger company plagiarizes it? Because that's the thing. The person they plagiarized only had 12,000 subscribers, like you had mentioned, on YouTube. So I don't know how he thought it wasn't going to happen, and you wouldn't find out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe his viewers wouldn't have noticed, but he was obviously going to notice, or at least I think it's obvious he would have noticed. And 11,000 people is enough people to tweet out anything you need to tweet, So
yeah.
There you go. I mean, so I'm going to read IGN's statement. They said, "We've reviewed the allegations against one of our writers regarding our review of Dead Cells. After taking the time to investigate, we've determined that there were substantial similarities between a review posted weeks earlier and our review that could not be justified and warranted taking down.